For decades, Nigeria's tax system was a confusing maze. Over 50 different taxes, unclear rules, and endless paperwork that made even the simplest transactions a challenge. Businesses and individuals alike found themselves lost in a web of bureaucracy with little guidance and no clear path to compliance. The sheer complexity of the system made it nearly impossible for the average citizen to understand their obligations, let alone fulfill them efficiently. This confusion discouraged compliance, fueled corruption, and left most citizens frustrated and overburdened. Many people simply gave up trying to pay taxes correctly, while others resorted to bribes or shortcuts just to get by. The result was a system that worked for almost no one, except those who knew how to exploit its loopholes. The tax-to-GDP ratio was just 10.8%, far below the African average, meaning the government couldn't fund basic services. Schools, hospitals, and roads suffered from chronic underfunding, and millions of Nigerians felt the impact in their daily lives. Oil revenue dominated the economy, making Nigeria vulnerable to global price swings and leaving a small group of taxpayers to shoulder most of the burden. When oil prices dropped, the entire country felt the shock, exposing the risks of relying on a single source of income. Low-income earners and small businesses suffered most, often paying multiple, overlapping taxes that stifled growth and innovation. Many entrepreneurs struggled to keep their doors open, while informal traders faced constant harassment and uncertainty. This broken system inspired President Bola Tinubu's sweeping tax reforms after he took office in 2023. Recognizing the urgent need for change, his administration set out to modernize and simplify Nigeria's tax landscape. The goal: overhaul the system to make it simpler, fairer, and more efficient. By broadening the tax base without punishing the poor, the reforms aimed to create a system where everyone contributes their fair share, and the benefits are felt across society. 4 landmark bills, signed in June 2025, marked the start of a new era for Nigeria's fiscal policy. These reforms promise to transform the way taxes are collected and spent, paving the way for a more prosperous and equitable future for all Nigerians. Tinubu's tax revolution is built on the foundation of 4 groundbreaking new laws, each crafted to address long-standing issues in Nigeria's tax landscape and to modernize the way the country manages its finances. Each law targets a specific weakness that has held back businesses and individuals for decades, aiming to make the system more efficient and less burdensome for everyone involved. The Nigeria Tax Act is a major step forward, consolidating dozens of confusing and overlapping taxes into one clear, unified code. This not only eliminates the maze of regulations, but also dramatically reduces compliance costs for businesses, making it easier for entrepreneurs and companies to focus on growth. The Nigeria Tax Administration Act standardizes collection procedures across the entire country, putting an end to the chaos of inconsistent rules and the problem of double taxation that has frustrated taxpayers for years. The Nigeria Revenue Service Act replaces the outdated FIRS with a stronger, more independent agency. This new body is designed to professionalize and centralize tax collection, ensuring greater accountability and efficiency in how taxes are managed and distributed. The Joint Revenue Board Act is all about fostering real cooperation between federal, state, and local agencies. It also introduces a tax ombudsman, a new role dedicated to protecting taxpayers' rights and resolving disputes fairly and transparently. For the first time in Nigeria's history, citizens and businesses have access to a single, predictable tax system, no matter where they live, work, or do business. This consistency is a game changer for planning and investment. These sweeping reforms are designed to build trust, transparency, and fairness into the very heart of Nigeria's tax system, encouraging compliance and fostering a sense of partnership between the government and its people. The result is a streamlined, accountable framework that not only serves citizens and businesses better, but also strengthens the entire economy, paving the way for sustainable growth and prosperity in Nigeria's future. The new tax laws bring real relief to low-income Nigerians. Anyone earning up to N800,000 a year now pays zero income tax, a major jump from the old threshold. This means millions keep more of their earnings for essentials like food, transport, and rent. VAT on basic goods, rice, beans, medical products, school supplies, public transport, and rent is now zero-rated, lowering everyday costs. The government's aim: protect the vulnerable and make life more affordable for struggling families. These targeted changes promise a fairer, more equitable society. Small businesses finally get a break. Companies earning up to $150 million a year are now exempt from companies' income tax, freeing up capital for growth and jobs. The Nigeria Tax Act wipes out dozens of confusing levies, letting entrepreneurs focus on business, not bureaucracy. E-invoicing and VAT credits on expenses further ease the burden, making compliance simpler and cheaper. The reforms encourage informal businesses to formalize, broadening the tax base sustainably. For millions of SMEs, this is a chance to thrive, not just survive. For Nigeria's largest companies, the new reforms represent a careful balancing act, offering both relief and new responsibilities. These changes are designed to encourage growth and investment, while also ensuring that the most profitable businesses contribute their fair share to the nation's progress. The headline change is a reduction in the company's income tax rate, dropping from 30% to 25% by 2026. This move is expected to make Nigeria more attractive to both local and international investors, potentially spurring job creation and economic expansion. However, this relief is balanced by new measures. A 4% development levy has been introduced, and the capital gains tax rate will rise sharply from 10% to 30%. These steps ensure that as companies grow and profit, they also help fund critical infrastructure and social programs. Multinational corporations now face a minimum effective tax rate of 15%. This is a significant move to curb aggressive tax avoidance strategies and to create a more level playing field for all businesses operating in Nigeria. Large firms will benefit from lower taxes on their profits, but they'll pay more when selling major assets and must meet new minimum tax thresholds. This encourages responsible business practices and discourages tax loopholes. The overarching goal is clear: to create a fairer tax system that supports sustainable growth, funds national development, and ensures that the benefits of economic progress are shared more widely across society. With these sweeping changes, Nigeria's corporate tax landscape is being reshaped to promote equity, competitiveness, and long-term prosperity for all. The government aims to raise the tax-to-GDP ratio from 10.8% to 18% by 2026, reducing oil dependence and funding public services. Officials tout broad support and promise shared prosperity, but public skepticism remains. Many Nigerians worry about corruption, poor implementation, and whether the new Nigeria Revenue Service will truly be accountable. Small businesses fear new forms of harassment, while civil society warns that success hinges on execution and transparency. Zero-rated VAT on essentials is welcomed, but vague definitions of luxury goods could spark disputes. The reform's fate depends on trust, oversight, and real improvements in people's lives. Tinubu's tax reforms are designed to make a real difference for ordinary Nigerians. The poor and small businesses get relief, while large corporations shoulder more responsibility. For families, this means more take-home pay and lower prices on essentials. For entrepreneurs, it's a chance to start and grow businesses without crippling taxes. The challenge now is building trust. Nigerians must see their taxes funding better schools, hospitals, and roads. Success depends on transparency, integrity, and citizen vigilance. If implemented well, these reforms could stabilize Nigeria's finances and unleash its economic potential. For the first time in years, there's a clear plan for a tax system that works for everyone.